have a problem. I'm back in this corner of my backyard again. I've recently put in this new privacy screen. I have a video for that project and I'll put a link to it in the description below. And I have a new fence that was put in last year, and right in between this nice new wood, this old ugly gate's falling apart and rotten. So in this video, you'll see me turn it into this. At first glance, it's not so bad. Originally, I thought I would just replace the cedar pickets and leave the frame. Then you get close, it's rotting. It's basically paper. The second issue is the door doesn't open. It hits the ground on the other side. So we haven't used this gate in quite some time. The last issue is there's too many different wood tones going on in this corner. Between the privacy screen, the cedar fence, and this weathered wood, there's too much going on. It's too busy. So we're going to give this gate function again and make it all look updated. I'm measuring the width of the original gate, and since I'm using the same 7-inch cedar pickets that are on the fence, I'm taking that measurement of the gate and counting how many pickets it takes to hit that. Now, I've never done this before. I spent a lot of time in the backyard looking at this corner and thinking, oh, I could probably do that. I went on YouTube and I watched so many gate building videos. Most of them are of these professional men who build gates so fast. And after all those videos, they really made it look so easy. I thought like, oh, I could do that. Was they'd use these 2x4 brackets. So essentially, your gate is just being built on these temporary placeholders and you remove them. That looked simple and doable to me. Way too advanced for my skill set, but what I ended up doing, I think worked. I would do things differently now that I know, but I'll share that with you when it comes around. So this is when I decided that I would build the frame on its own, and when I went to install, I would have it sitting on the bracket, secure it with screws into the support posts, and that would hold up the weight of the fence while I built it. So here I'm checking it for square. It was a little bit off, but this cross brace will fix that issue. I did a lot of research on all those gate building videos, and what I learned, it's very important that the weight, so the latch side, it bears a lot of weight. So this cross brace, the weight needs to flow down from the latch and hit that bottom hinge. So the bottom hinge has support from this cross brace. That makes sense? I don't know, but this cross brace did help my square issue, so I used the tape measure corner to corner to make sure that it's the same number. I'm going to go ahead and install it. after all that, I decided that it was too difficult to try to attach the frame to the support posts. So I decided to let the weight of the frame be supported by the hinges. So I installed a few screws, and I'm letting that hold up the frame while I attach the cedar pickets. And then once I get closer to the hinges, and I'll need to detach them to attach the cedar pickets behind the hinge, that I would use the 2x4s that it's sitting on to support it to stay while I attach the pickets, then reattach the hinges. I eventually hit many snags. It was quite frustrating, but this was a learning process for me. Alright, so that footage wasn't captured, but I'll spare you the drama. Installing the cedar pickets was fairly easy. Like you saw, I just used the clamps to hold the pickets where I wanted them to be, secured them with screws, staggering them. Once I got to the end, it was like I imagined. I unscrewed the hinge, installed the cedar picket, screwed the hinge back on. What I did not realize was that the weight of the gate is so heavy that it wobbled on those 2x4 brackets that I had put in. And so when I went to reinstall the hinges, they weren't level, the gaps were off, and it was too heavy for me to shift the gate. So you saw me trying to use 1/4-inch plywood to help hoist it over. I worked on it for a really long time. That was probably 30-45 minutes of me just like not knowing what to do. So I had to ask for help. I had to have a second set of hands hold up the gate for me while I shifted it in between, adjusting the gaps, and then reinstall the hinge. Now what you're seeing here is my second set of problems. The gate is so tight against the fence that the original gate latch that I had in doesn't fit anymore. Not only that, the gate swings the opposite direction, and so it hits the gate when you try to swing it in. I have to get a different latch, or eventually down the road I need to shave down the gate so that I could fit a 2x4 against the fence to attach the latch to. That was like literally such an oversight on my part. I was so focused on building the gate, having it work and function. I didn't think about how the latch would be affected. I ended up figuring it out. It's a temporary solution, but it's very secure. Overall, despite my inexperience and challenges, I'm really proud of myself. I'm happy that I did this project. It looks so much better, and I am proud that I was able to figure this out regardless of all my issues. Thanks for watching.